foster father, Nanda Maharaj, from the fear of the demigod Varuna and released the cowboys from the caves of the mountain. For they were placed there by the son of Maya, also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during the daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day. Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his godhood. Please repeat. Lord Krishna saved his foster father, Nanda Maharaj, from the fear of the demigod Varuna and released the cowboys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya, also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during the daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day. Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his godhood. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Lord Krishna, went to take his bath in the river Yamuna in the dead of night, mistakenly thinking that the night was already over. Thus the demigod Varuna took him to the Varuna planet just to have a look at the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, who appeared there to release his father. Actually, there was no arrest of Nanda Maharaj by Varuna, because of the inhabitants of Vrindavan were always engaged in thinking of Krishna, in constant meditation on the personality of Godhead in a particular form of samadhi or trance or bhakti yoga. They had no fear of the miseries of material existence. In the Bhagavad Gita it is confirmed that to be in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead by full surrender in transcendental love frees one from the miseries inflicted by the laws of material nature. Here it is clearly mentioned that the inhabitants of Vrindavan were extensively busy in the hard labor of their day's work, and due to the day's hard labor, they were engaged in sound sleep at night. So practically, they had very little time to devote to meditation or to other paraphernalia of spiritual activities. But factually, they were engaged in the highest spiritual activities only. Everything done by them was spiritualized because everything was dovetailed in their relationship with Lord Shri Krishna. The central point of activities was Krishna, and as such, the so-called activities in the material world were saturated with spiritual potency. That is the advantage of the way of Bhakti Yoga. One should discharge one's duty on Lord Krishna's behalf, and all one's actions will be saturated with Krishna thought, the highest pattern of trance in spiritual realization. I repeat the verse again. Lord Krishna saved his foster father, Nanda Maharaj, from the fear of the demigod Varuna and released the cowboys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. Also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during the daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day, Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planets in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his godhood. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So we continue the verses of the very wonderful chapter of wonderful Krishna. Everything about this particular time period of Krishna, the childhood pastimes, is a very blissful meditation for all the devotees, especially for the sadhakas, students of devotion. We're hearing submissively and eagerly about the beautiful pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. This is alone a very purifying experience. It is alone a devotional service, just to absorb ourselves in the thoughts of Krishna, His pastimes, His form, His name, transcendental activities, the holy names of Krishna. So a devotee who has a purified consciousness experiences pleasure hearing Krishna. So as Krishna's pastimes teaching us and reminding us that human form of life has a very sublime goal, a very beautiful goal, is to have that prema, have that pure, unalloyed, unconditional love when we're giving ourselves to Krishna completely. Of course, we patiently practice under the guidance of spiritual master, under the guidance of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So we don't fall into misunderstanding. In the early stages of devotion, we have to be it is advisable to be careful and cautious not to fall into complacency about the pastimes of Krishna. We cannot fall into the sahaja mood, because these experiences cannot be imitated. We can appreciate it by hearing and by chanting the glories of the Lord in the association of devotees. And gradually we feel these emotions, we feel these loving sentiments, and we feel this spontaneity, unconditional love. But that has to be earned. We have to carefully cultivate knowledge and clarify any doubts, and giving up and purifying all misconceptions. And then by the grace of Guru and Gauranga, our consciousness will come raising to a higher level. But that has to be earned, and Srila Prabhupada gave us a very nice process, a sadhana process. Every day we absorbing ourselves, hearing about Krishna in a regulated way, not just sometimes, in a regulated way. So we have the festivals, we have the Kartika, we have so many larger festivals throughout the year, so we can all get together and appreciate these events and pastimes of Krishna. In this verse, Lord Krishna saved his foster father, Nanda Maharaj, from the fear of the demigod Varuna. So Nanda Maharaj, of course, we always have to keep it in mind, this is a divine lila. Great devotees simply part of that lila, Krishna's sweet pastimes. So they're not conditioned souls with illusions and making mistakes. Nevertheless, in this particular incident, Nanda Maharaj made a mistake. He rose very early, before sunrise, much before, in a very inauspicious muhurta. Srila Prabhupada says in the Krishna book that he took bath in the Yamuna in the demoniac hour, and so he attracted the attention of Varuna and his servants. Oh, he is taking bath in this particular time. So we need to capture him. But Varuna Dev never meant to arrest Nanda Maharaj. This was part of the sweetness of Krishna and Varuna Dev and Nanda Maharaj, the interaction. Varuna Dev was eager to see Krishna himself. He knew well that Krishna will come, Krishna and Balaram will come and save their father. So Varuna Dev could offer prayers and darshan of Lord Krishna. Interestingly about Muhurta, not that we much of astrology experts, but no, we should give too much of emphasis. Devotees, we depending on Krishna's sweet will, but sometimes there are times that we consider these things. For example, Brahma Muhurta. Why Srila Prabhupada selected the Brahma Muhurta? Because it's a very auspicious timing. 1 hour 20 minutes before sunrise. And so there are some considerations, but the devotee depends on Krishna's sweet will. Although we may not be conscious of it on a daily basis, all these technicalities and material things, but still we are conscious to some extent. So to support and help our devotional consciousness. Brahma Muhurta is especially favorable for purifying our consciousness. It's a very favorable, astrologically, cosmologically, a very favorable alignment. And so devotees advised to rise for Mangalarti, chant good rounds, hear the holy name. It's a very favorable time. So throughout the day we can remember Krishna without any mental disturbances and confusion, because material world we get these influences. Talking about Muhurta, even Srila Prabhupada, and not to speak of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, who was a great astrologer and great mathematician. He studied under a proper lineage of astrologers. Although he renounced the practice of astrology, but one thing he never refused to consider was Muhurta calculations. He was very conscious of avoiding Rahu Kalam, for example. He avoided traveling in certain times, especially Thursday afternoon. So nevertheless, these are simple indication of there are incidences when Muhurta is inauspicious and it can cause some trouble, but the devotee remains fixed. Happiness and distress, we remain fixed at Krishna's lotus feet. And Bhaktisiddhanta also compiled the Surya Siddhanta, explaining the cosmological layout, so many cosmological phenomena similar to Srimad Bhagavatam description. So we can see that there are some reasons why Varuna got very upset of Nanda Maharaj entering the Yamuna inauspicious times. But nevertheless, it is all just part of the lila, beautiful, sweet pastimes. The second part of the verse, as the pastimes going, released the coward boys, Krishna released the coward boys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. So Mayandanava, a very interesting personality, is the king of the Danavas, and he had 3 sons. Actually, one was Vyomasura, his name is mentioned in the Krishna book, Mayavi, Bala, Dundubi. So Bala, for example, and Vyomasura also, they were inheriting a lot of mysticism, mystic power and mystic cities from their father. Mayadanava was a great mystic. He got great boon from Lord Brahma to be the architect of the Danavas and also the Asuras. But he was not a full-fledged Asura. He was more like a Danava who could be influenced in an evil way also. Nevertheless, he had a great pastimes with Arjuna. Arjuna saved his life. It was a great forest fire, and so Mayadanava became very obliged to repay some service. And Mayadanava also requested Krishna himself, how can I return the favor of Arjuna? How can I serve the Pandavas? So Lord Krishna knew the skills and art of Mayadanava, who was a great architect. He got the benediction of Lord Brahma because of his tapasya, that you will be a celestial architect and you'll be empowered by mystic cities. You can create vimanas, flying cities. So he was very expert, and one of his sons inherited this power. Bala, for example, his name is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada also, and in one of the verses. Bala, the son of Mayadanava, he had 96 mystic arts, very powerful mystic cities, and some of the yogis inherited or learned these arts. So Vyomasura happened to be a friend of Kamsa, and he tried to capture the cowboys by his mystic power. So he pretended to be a cowboy. So sometimes we see that even amongst devotees, we have to give up duplicity. We have to be Jainian Vaishnavas and be humble, manifest nice qualities, not to be superficial. Bala and Vyomasura were so expert that they could pretend to be a great devotee, one of the cowboys, and playing with Krishna. But Krishna could see, of course. And so he managed to stole most of the cowboys, and Krishna realized, he's putting them in a cave. So he forcibly captured Vyomasura and threw him down the ground. And these stories just simply glorifying Krishna's greatness, regardless of these great asuras and the powers, or even demigods like Varuna, what they can do. Krishna can simply defeat them. He is the most wonderful personality. Krishna is the most wonderful, incredibly powerful, omnipotent, and the best well-wisher of his devotees. So Mayadanava was astonished, but like I said, the scriptures, many Puranas talk about Mayadanava, who was a great architect of the Asuras and the Danavas, was very much of between. He was not a full-fledged Asura, but was moving towards the devotees also. He helped the devotees. Often he built large palaces or assembly halls, just like Krishna requested Mayadanava to build the assembly hall for King Duryodhana. So Duryodhana obviously got affected by his mystic power, and Mayadanava created these illusions in the palace. So he was an expert, and his sons were expert also. They could capture, they could create illusions, and often they were serving other asuras like Kamsa. Bala, for example, was even now he is king of in Atala, one of the lower planetary systems in Patalaloka, in the region of Patalaloka. There's a planetary system called Atala, and he's a king there. And so he's a very powerful mystic. And when Krishna is performing his pastimes, he's also participating often. Some of these asuras, they also come just to continue the pastimes of Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada and Vyasadeva continues the other part of the sloka, which pointing towards the ultimate platform of devotional service. Also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day, Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his godhood. So all the pastimes of Krishna, just glorifying his exalted position as the transcendental supreme personality of Godhead, especially Krishna, the full potency. Krishna is directly himself. He's not an avatar for the sake of incarnating in this world. No, he is directly himself, Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha, the supreme personality. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, they could relish this. They could relish the emotions. They really felt that love and attraction to Krishna. And as we know, as we study the 10th canto, and also we study Gopal Champu, Jiva Goswami put together very, very beautiful and very deep and exalted topic on the pastimes of Krishna. And Bhanu Swami Maharaj made a beautiful translation and rendering, very nice. It just continues the pastimes in a very detailed, much more what Srila Prabhupada gave us the storyline, but you can go further, very detailed in the Gopal Champu about Krishna and the cowed boys and Govardhan and Radha and Krishna, the different levels of devotion. Although the aim and the true objective of Vrindavan Lila, Braja Lila, was attaining this Madhurya Rasa, this highest divine, the divine couple, and the devotion and love the gopis felt for Krishna. Very, very subtle levels of devotion, very, very pure. It's difficult for us to even comprehend, not to speak of feeling these emotions. Therefore cannot be imitated. There's always a warning there. Srila Bhaktisaranta Saraswati Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada was warning the devotees not to prematurely enter these. We should appreciate it, we should hear it. It's very, very pleasing to the heart and very purifying, and naturally awakens that attraction to Krishna, but we cannot imitate these high levels. Nevertheless, although the objective is to attain these conjugal love that the gopis felt for Krishna, the entire mood of especially Vrindavan was Vatsalya Ras, the parenthood, this motherly, fatherly affection for Krishna. Krishna had many nicknames, Kana, many affectionate names, because the residents and the inhabitants of Raja Mandal, we call Raja Bhumi, they had so much affection for Krishna. And you see this whole Kartika the month of Shrimati Radharani, is to remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna, and a child Krishna, Damodar, these sweet emotions, the Vatsalya Ras, this caring for Krishna. Although the cowboys were wondering whether Krishna, because Krishna manifested all these extraordinary potencies, killing the asuras, creating so many miraculous things, that sometimes they're wondering, who is Krishna? Although they didn't care whether Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they just wanted to love Krishna. They had this natural affection, very pure attraction. Oh, Krishna is our child. He's a child of Vrindavan, the most attractive, most pure, most sweet. And the naughty Krishna, naughty child. Everyone trying to capture Krishna, hug Krishna, feed Krishna. You see the village ladies, a neighborhood of Nanda Maharaj, they were occupied with the thought of Krishna. The cows, the calves, the gopis, the village girls, they were simple girls, simple boys. They were just loving Krishna, and they have no other material kind of distraction. Everything was dedicated to Krishna. As Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, all the activities, they worked very hard. They were out there with the cows, growing grains and vegetables, milking the cows, churning the butter, but constantly singing the glories of Krishna, because there's so much affection. Even in the very early stages, when Krishna appeared, and when Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda received the child Krishna, everyone wanted to mother Krishna, everyone to breastfeed Krishna. All the village ladies all coming attracted. Wow, such a beautiful child. It's something they could not fully understand. How come Krishna is just so outstanding? He's the most attractive to us. They were completely absorbed in that love. And even the cows, bulls and cows, they just they wanted Krishna in the front of them. See, because they just wanted to Krishna. They always wanted to see Krishna. Where is Krishna? All the birds, the deer, everything around Vrindavan was just to see Krishna, experience Krishna, touch Krishna, feed him. So Giriraj Govardhan is a very special meditation for us. In Garga Samhita, Raghunath Das Goswami mentions that Giriraj Govardhan is the heart of Krishna, is the ultimate love, pure love. If you can capture the attention of Giriraj, our life is perfect. And we are so blessed here. Giriraj Govardhan, Krishna Balaram kindly manifested for us. Because Krishna is very, very kind to his devotees. If the assembly of the devotees really want Krishna, desire Krishna, he comes here. Amazing. He actually came here to the land of Australia and established the embassy of the transcendental Goloka Vrindavan. So here on a daily basis we can meditate on their lotus feet, meditate on their sweet pastimes. That should be our ultimate meditation while we do our sadhana and services. We do these services out of love, not just a mechanical thing. I have to do this, I have to do that. No, let's do it with love. And when we do it with love, cooking for Krishna with love, doing services for love, even distributing literature with love, understanding our spiritual master's mission, trying to please him, try to please the Vaishnavas. If we have this one, then real love will manifest. So Giriraj Govardhan, basically just the presence of Giri Govardhan brings the entire mood of Raj so much love, all the pastimes. Krishna himself. Giri Govardhan is like a devotee. Govardhana. Go means cow, Vardhana means nourishing. It's a very beautiful way of saying. Govardhan nourishes. Also nourishes not only the cows, but nourishing our soul, nourishing our Krishna consciousness. Having Giri Govardhan, a very sweet form of Krishna, includes the entire pastimes of Krishna. Even Radha and Krishna. He's Krishna himself. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami mentions in Anubhasya, and Srila Prabhupada quotes this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami. When that Giriraj Govardhan is directly the body of Krishna. Directly. Krishna is directly here. He is with us. It's just a question of feeling these emotions and feeling and realizing this. But that takes time. This beyond awakening process with chanting nicely, avoiding the offenses and serving the Vaishnavas, and by the grace of Guru and Gauranga, our consciousness, our feelings for Krishna becomes real, genuine, not artificial or superficial. Raghunath Das Goswami was a great devotee of Govardhan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gifted a Govardhan Shila, his personal Govardhan Shila, who Mahaprabhu carried this Govardhan Shila, a little small Shila, and he used to carry this. He had this Shila, Govardhan, for 2 years, and he used to wet this Shila with his tears, and he was so attached to this Govardhan, Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was given a Govardhan Shila, and he kept him for 2 years. And one time he realized, I'd like to give a beautiful gift to my great devotee, Raghunath. So he approached him, please take this Govardhan Shila and worship him with pure goodness, pure love. Raghunath Das Goswami backed off a bit. I'm just a poor mendicant. How am I going to worship the Lord? I have no paraphernalia. I have no... And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged him. I'm giving you this Govardhan Shila as a token of my love. I'm giving you the highest realms of devotional service. And then Raghunath Das Goswami, just because Mahaprabhu requested him, accepted the Govardhan Shila, and he's worshipping him. And then Swarup Damodar and other great devotees bring all the sweetmeats, sandesha, burfis, a little platform. Although he was a mendicant, he didn't have facility or means to worship the deities in opulence. But nevertheless, Giriraj worship is really a Vrajavasi worship. And so, on the other hand, although Govardhan is here, Radha and Krishna is here, because of our current status of devotion, because we're not on that platform yet, and we should not imitate the spontaneity, Raganuga platform, we worship Radha and Krishna in the mood of Lakshmi, Narayana. We worship Govardhan as Krishna. Although we meditate on these, and we should meditate on the actual pastimes, but just because of our current status, we're not on that platform yet, so we follow the directives of our spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada said we have to still approach the Lord in the ashraya mood. We cannot just jump to different levels artificially, superficially. So when we worship Radha and Krishna in a mood of Lakshmi Narayan with respect, then by their mercy gradually we feel these. And also we have to keep hearing about their pastimes, read about their pastimes. So, and Krishna, you see, in this particular purport, Srila Prabhupada makes it very clearly that the Vrajabhumi, the residents of Vrajabhumi, they were so occupied with the thought of Krishna and engaging themselves in some form of work. They're working very hard. Everything was dovetailed for Krishna. Krishna was the center. Nothing else in their minds. Everything's for Krishna. What an exalted platform, and we just have that feeling, nothing else. No material distractions. Forget all this, kick all this out, and just simply giving our hearts to Krishna. Imagine the blissful happiness and satisfaction we would have. We would be already in a spiritual realm, just with that consciousness, with that state of consciousness. So today also is Diwali. I'll just keep it very short, we don't have much time. You can read about the details of the story. Diwali has many significance. Diwali is the return of Lord Ramachandra to Ayodhya after long exile, after killing Ravana, and has many beautiful meanings to this. That Lord Ram is always representing that the good, God is good. God is good. So the good always wins over evil. See. So Ravana represents the ultimate demoniac consciousness, and his different heads, the certain qualities of demonic consciousness: envy, pride, lust, all the 10 heads. So Lord Ramachandra killed him. So this is emphasizing that Lord Ramachandra is showing his devotees and showing the world that evil cannot conquer good. Good win over evil. And of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu often observed Diwali with his associates. They visited all these temples, and there were great celebrations. In our Gaudiya Vaishnava practice, we don't give too much of an emphasis on Diwali as Diwali. We mainly give emphasis that Srila Prabhupada says in Chaitanya Charitamrita also that the last day after Diwali is Annakuta festival, which is a very great celebration for the Vaishnavas, especially for the residents of Vrindavan and the Gaudiya Vaishnavas who study these pastimes. Annakuta festival is very special again for the Vaishnavas because Lord Krishna lived at Govardhan Hill, and at the same time Madhavendra Puri also established the temple of Gopal. So it's very beautiful pastimes behind this, and tomorrow and the day after we're going to read more and more. So Diwali is involving many beautiful experiences for the Vaishnavas, but originally goes back to Ramachandra's pastimes, return of Lord Ram, the great royal Raja Ram, the ultimate representation of a Raja Rishi, who's even now after yugas past, since Trecha Yuga, still being glorified as the greatest. So Lord Ramachandra ki jai. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.